On our first full day in Washington, D.C., Jules and I decided to drop into the National Portrait Gallery. The National Portrait Gallery was authorized and founded by Congress in 1962. The mission of the gallery is to tell the story of America by portraying the people who shaped the nation's history, development, and culture. So let's go in and look at a few things that Jules and I saw on our first day. Okay, Jules, tell me, where are we?
We are at the Portrait Museum. It's one of the Smithsonian museums, and we just arrived here a little while ago, and one of the big exhibits that we're going to see is the President's Gallery here at the museum.
Yeah, and so what are we sitting in front of here? What is this painting called?
It's a painting called The Strong Woman and Child.
The Strong Woman and Child. It's amazing that here in the National Portrait Gallery, this would actually be one of the things that's held up as a national portrait. But gotta love the humor and the art. As the nation's only complete collection of presidential portraits outside the White House, the American President's exhibit lies at the heart of the Portrait Gallery's mission to tell the country's history through the individuals who have shaped it. Wherever you go in Washington, D.C., there's one figure that's the most popular, and that's of Abraham Lincoln. One of my favorite paintings in the gallery is one by Eastman Johnson. This one is entitled, "The Lord is My Shepherd." This young black man may well be a former slave, and reading scripture could signal his newfound freedom. The Bible was a natural starting point, as African Americans, both enslaved and free, already had a strong oral tradition of scripture. Despite the painting's title, the man is not reading the Psalms, which are found in the middle of the Old Testament. He is reading from the front of the Bible, where the book of Exodus offers a compelling message for those who have endured slavery. Let my people go. Some of my other favorite presidents found in the gallery are George Washington, Andrew Jackson, John F. Kennedy. Whoever your favorite might be, you can find them here at the National Portrait Gallery in Washington, D.C. Over the years, the collections, which were initially restricted to paintings, prints, drawings, and engravings, have grown to over 22,000 items in all media forms. Check out this video digital display of a family fighting a flood. The National Air and Space Museum is the largest of 19 museums included in the Smithsonian Institute. It maintains the world's largest and most significant collection of aviation and space artifacts, encompassing all aspects of human flight, as well as related works of art and archival materials. The museum commemorates the past and is committed to educating and inspiring people to foster appreciation for the importance of flight to humanity. The Washington National Cathedral is a cathedral of the Episcopal Church located in Washington, D.C. Of neo-Gothic design, closely modeled on English Gothic style of the late 14th century, it is the 6th largest cathedral in the world and the 2nd largest in the United States. The United States Congress has designated the Washington National Cathedral as the National House of Prayer. The structure has hosted many major events, both religious and secular, including state funerals for 3 American presidents, Dwight D. Eisenhower, Ronald Reagan, and Gerald Ford. So Jules and I were happy to worship there on the 4th Sunday of Easter. Jules and I could not visit Washington, D.C. without visiting the Trump International Hotel. Historically also known as the Old Post Office and Clock Tower, it was used as the city's main post office until 1914. It functioned primarily as an office building afterwards. In 2013, the U.S. General Services Administration leased the property for the next 60 years to a consortium headed by Donald J. Trump through a revocable trust. Trump developed the property into a luxury hotel called the Trump International Hotel, which opened in September of 2016. And you can tell from the views inside, it truly is a luxury property. The National Mall. It's sometimes called America's front yard. It's where people come to figure out what the United States is all about. There's nothing like arriving on the National Mall for the very first time. Seeing the Washington Monument rise majestically to the sky, surrounded by the stately U.S. Capitol building at one end and the dignified Lincoln Memorial at the other, it's hard not to think of America's history. The National Mall is America's most visited national park, where the past, present, and future come together. The monuments and the memorials in this park honor American forefathers and heroes who paid the ultimate sacrifice in service to this country. From the I Have a Dream speech to the AIDS quilt, the mall is the national stage where movements and celebrations take place, where people gather to have their voices heard.
Mitch on his way to the Capitol.
Today is Monday, May 8th, 2017, and we are here at the U.S. Capitol. This is our third full day of our trip, and so we decided to come visit the Capitol. You can see that the weather is just spectacular, although it's a little cool. But here's your basic, classic tourist video shot of the U.S. Capitol. Standing right here on the grounds in front of the U.S. Capitol. To the right here, you're staring at the Senate building where the Senate meets. They'll be meeting at 2 p.m. this afternoon. A little construction here on the front area. It's just amazing now that the dome has been redone, how much the dome shines in the sun here on this beautiful May day. And over here to the left is where the House of Representatives meet. So just a beautiful day and a beautiful time to be a United States citizen. The sandstone walls of the rotunda rise 48 feet above the floor. Everything above this line was added between 1855 and 1866. Congress authorized the new high dome of fireproof cast iron to bring the center portion of the U.S. Capitol into harmony with the new large wings. Walter's 1859 section of the new dome and a large rotunda showed a fresco in the canopy over the eye of the inner dome and a sculptured frieze at the base of the dome. The statues and the bust in the Capitol Rotunda are primarily of presidents. You can see George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Dwight D. Eisenhower, James Garfield, Ulysses S. Grant, Andrew Jackson, Thomas Jefferson, Ronald Reagan, and Gerald Ford. The sculpture in the rotunda also includes representations of Alexander Hamilton, Dr. Martin Luther King, and Susan B. Anthony. Over time, water leaking through the Capitol dome and into the building caused more than 1,000 cracks, damaging paint, cast iron, stone, and decorative elements in the rotunda. Beginning in July of 2015 and throughout the restoration process, the architect of the Capitol repaired ironwork, upgraded electrical and mechanical systems, installed new lighting, removed hazardous materials, and returned the rotunda's paint scheme to a more historically accurate color. The restoration of the rotunda ensures this hallowed space will be enjoyed by generations of visitors, staffs, and members of Congress for years to come. The National Statuary Hall is a chamber in the United States Capitol devoted to sculptures of prominent Americans. It is located immediately south of the rotunda. The meeting place of the U.S. House of Representatives for over 50 years, 1807 to 1857, it is now the main exhibition space for the National Statuary Hall collection. The hall is built in the shape of an ancient amphitheater and is one of the earliest examples of neoclassical architecture in America. Today, Statuary Hall is one of the most visited rooms in the Capitol. It is visited by hundreds of tourists each day and continues to be used for ceremonial occasions. You can also see various legislators doing personal interviews with cable television with this backdrop on many days. Special events held in the room include activities honoring foreign dignitaries, and every 4 years, Congress hosts the newly inaugurated President of the United States for a luncheon in this hall. You can't make a visit to the Capitol building without walking across the street to the Supreme Court building, which is the seat of the Supreme Court of the United States and the judicial branch thereof. Completed in 1935, it is situated on First Street on the block immediately east of the United States Capitol. On May 4th, 1987, the Supreme Court building was designated a National Historic Landmark. We decided while we were at the Supreme Court building to drop in and have lunch at the cafe. Surprisingly, it was great food. In addition, we were able to sit in the afternoon in the big room where all the big cases are heard by the Supreme Court. It was quite impressive. And last but not least was this painting that we saw of Antonin Scalia. My, how he's missed by everyone in this hall. He will ever be remembered as the original constitutionalist interpreter of the Supreme Court. Rest in peace, Antonin.
Oh, beautiful, for heroes proved in liberating strife. Who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and ever again divine. And you know, when I was in school, we used to sing it something like this. Listen here. Oh, beautiful, far spacious skies, far amber waves of grain,